DZRJ 810 AM, the voice of the Philippines, proudly brings you Equal Justice. Find out the hottest legal issues of the week and hear the analysis. And now, here are your hosts, Attorney Ador Tolentino.
Yes to peace, no to BBS. Facebook. Okay, if you want to follow.
Attorney June Kicho.
Kailangan comfort level eh.
Exactly.
And Attorney Tiki Tabuhara.
Vice President Binay, pati si Pinoy, pati si Executive Secretary.
Good afternoon, Philippines, and once again, it's another edition of Equal Justice. I'm Attorney Tiki Tabuhara, and with me is my partner.
And I'm Attorney June Kicho. We're waiting for Attorney Ador.
Yeah, he's just around the corner. Pero sabi niya, umpisahan na natin yung nagbabagang topic na dapat natin pag-usapan ngayon, which is, of course, President Duterte gave speeches in each of those inaugurations.
Yes.
So, medyo tailored naman yung speech niya to each inauguration. Yung sa kanya, presidential inauguration sa Malacanang. Did you notice, partner, that was the first time na nakita sila ni Vice President Leni Robredo?
Yes.
And mukhang
were they able to talk? Did you because on the night of what you call that, of the inauguration, on June 30. Nung gabi na yun, nagkita pa kami ni na Vice President eh.
Were you part of that celebration?
No, I wasn't part of the inauguration because I was somewhere else. But that evening, we had a very short meeting, very parang celebratory meeting.
Sa Quezon City Memorial.
Yes. Mayroong isang restaurant doon and we
Hindi niyo ko inimbita. Sabi mo kay
pulled us.
Sabi mo kay Vice President, Vice President, ma'am, si Attorney Tabuhara, nandiyan nakatabi lang ng Quezon City or Circle yung bahay tapos hindi niyo pa inimbita.
and she told us that she was not but by then she had not spoken with she had not in fact met the president. So we were hopeful that they would have a chance to kahit man lang rub elbows with each other
or to say hello.
Yes, to say hello.
Pero partner, yung itong separate inauguration of the president and vice president, is that uniting or is divisive?
I think it was divisive. It was divisive.
Kasi parang divisive, no? Kasi if you want to have kasi alam mo naman nangyari na election, it was a very heated election, daming nagsasalita, puro siraan, gano'n and everything. And you would expect na after election, things will simmer down as normal and mature people would do and heal the wounds of the election.
Precisely,
ano ba itong separate inauguration? What is your take on that?
Well, I think it was a statement on the part of President Duterte that he did not want to have anything to do with the Vice President, at least at that point of their relationship. And I am saying that in a more hopeful manner because
nagtataka ko kasi in the inauguration of President Duterte, nandun si Bongbong Marcos.
Yes.
Di ba? Natalo siya ng Vice President. Yung nanalo, yung si Vice President Robredo,
was not even invited,
wala doon.
I think.
But just to look back in history, ano bang usual dyan yung sa Quirino Grandstand ginagawa yan, di ba?
Yeah.
Sabay ba?
Yeah, kay Erap doon ginawa sa
Pero sabay?
Sabay. Lahat sabay. This is the first time I've seen the Vice President being inaugurated separately.
So, yung dati mga inauguration, I wasn't too attentive at the time, but it was the President and the Vice President who would be sworn in at the same ceremony.
Yes.
And then
although separately. No?
And then it would be in Quirino Grandstand, just sa may malapit sa Manila Hotel.
Except kay Erap, which was done in
Malolos.
Malolos, yes.
So, meron din palang parang may president, no?
Yes, oo.
Parang may parallelisms di ba? May parallelisms di ba?
Yes, and in fact, this is the second time I've seen a president being inaugurated in Malacanang.
our multi-party system
does not allow for a majority.
Kaya nga yun nga, that's what I was about to say, that the pag maraming kandidato tumatakbo, the winner can only get 20%, 30%, and then he will win.
Yes.
So wala siyang 50% plus 1.
Yeah, I think si Duterte got mga 40%.
No, 35%.
35%. Still low for the highest post in the
dapat 51,
51, diba? So, kaya lang palagi ko, ubos talaga ang pera ng Pilipinas, no? If you do that. Kasi,
yung magkaka-run off election.
Yes,
kasi sa France kasi ganun multi-party system, tatakbo sila, 10 sila tumatakbo. And then, welcome the late attorney.
Yes.
Ador.
Ador Tolentino.
Okay, good afternoon po sa lahat ng mga
partner.
nakikinig.
The least that could have been done would be to have a joint swearing in or inauguration for the president and vice president. Diba? Kasi para paghiwalay, ang impression is that hiwalay pa rin, diba? Hati pa rin yung mga tao.
Yeah, in a way, parang symbolic yung separating. But on the other hand, some experts say that the inauguration really is the president's time. And inauguration is for her to have her own shining moment in a different venue.
Don't agree with that.
It's it's like adding salt to injury, di ba? Parang you're rubbing it in, hindi ka kasama sa grupo ko at kasama yung kalaban mo. Of course, that is the other side of the coin. Sa akin, kasi hindi niya bibigyan ng, wala talaga even in history, the vice president may be there, but wala siyang inaugural speech.
Ganun. Even before.
Yes.
Pero sabay dapat, sabay.
Yun ang maganda.
Pero sabay.
Sabay.
Pero,
and the good thing about it is that Lenny shone
exactly
in her own inauguration.
Exactly. Saka nakalahad siya ng plataforma niyang maigi. Yung kung ano talaga ang gusto niyang mangyari while nasa poder siya. And to the best of her ability na kaya under the present circumstance considering hindi sila magkaparty ni
pero nagtataka ko yung mga guest kasi syempre mga senador, mga kung sino-sino, no? Nahati rin. Some went to the vice president's inauguration, some went to the president's election. So is this again not a divisive act in such a way na sana nagsama-sama lang sila?
It is divisive.
Well,
definitely it is.
The symbolism is there always. The symbolism is there always, but I hope that we learn something from out of this. Hindi nga maganda yung dating kasi parang nararamdaman mo yung paghihiwalay Pero
maganda. Actually, to be honest, I'm not a big fan of president, but to be fair to him, maganda yung sinabi niya. Maganda yung sinabi niya, but
isa-isahin natin. Meron dito I made some screenshots of the pictures that I took from my television set, maganda itong mga sabi niya, no leader however strong, meaning possibly he is a strong leader, can succeed unless he has the support of the people. So,
Abraham Lincoln yun,
magandang magandang pag-imog sa cooperation ng lahat. Whether binoto mo siya o hindi, ako I give it to him, okay? Isa pa, sabi niya, ano ba? Second, ito, we have to listen. Ito maganda to. Gusto ko itong sinabi niya to. We have to listen to the murmurings of the people. Okay? Feel their pulse. Supply their needs. Fortify their faith in government or in us. Sabi niya, meaning the government. People in government.
Alam ko ibig sabihin nun. Magaling ang speechwriter niya.
Magaling. Sabi ko nga, parang binulet point na tak. Walang
sino kayang ghostwriter?
Walang nasayang na minuto kasi it was really under 15 minutes.
Hindi siya nagmura. Hindi siya nagmura.
Wala talaga, walang mura. No cuss word at all and no hint at all about his being the kind of person he is. Although inamin naman niya dun sa umpisa ng speech niya, and this was addressed to the international community. Inamin niya, nasabi niya, my method may be unorthodox. Yun ang sabi niya. But I assure you that everything I do it right and under within the law. Within what is legal.
Actually, trust me, I'm a lawyer.
I'm a lawyer. I'm a prosecutor. Sabi niya. Trust me. I know what to do right within the law.
Ayun.
Inassure niya naman ng international community.
Actually,
Really
pero naman
unconstitutional.
may paniliwanag siya. He said that under criminal procedure, any citizen can arrest.
Oh yeah.
Okay, now, ang sinasabi niya,
Pwede naman yun.
if
pero,
nag-resist yung criminal,
Yun,
the
yun
criminal
ang pwede.
can be actually engaged.
Yes,
okay,
but only remember tatlong sitwasyon lang naman yung citizen's arrest.
very
diba?
narrow.
Yes,
narrow.
very narrow. Kailangan in flagrante delicto.
Ayun.
Yes.
Or second,
Meaning, at the time na kinocommit niya yung crime,
Yes,
yun ang ibig po sabihin ng
yung
flagrante delicto.
yung pangalawa ay ano tawag there's a legal term for this. Yung
immediately after.
immediately after and you have
Personal knowledge.
that it happened.
Tumatakbo from the scene of the crime.
Yes, and
Hot pursuit.
Yes,
Hot pursuit.
And the third one is
Has actually been committed
yes,
already.
yes.
And then hot pursuit.
Tumakas
Hot
na
pursuit.
tumakas na ano tawag
From
dito?
custody.
Yeah,
From custody.
yun lang naman yung situations where you can.
Pero ito turo namin lang. I've written several articles over. I review
Yes.
ko. In fact, I reposted them over the past 9 years about this issue because maraming mga gun owners kasi yung mga nagtatanong ngayon, Sir, kami may licensed gun kami. Pwede ba kaming mag-arrest ng drug lord na sinabi ni Duterte, pwede namin patayin? Sabi ko, correct. In fact, huwag kayo masyad na mainit because the grounds upon which you can act as a civilian, armed civilian, are very narrow.
Exactly.
Limited to self-defense lang yan.
Exactly.
You cannot play police. You cannot
Exactly.
be a cop. You cannot engage in law enforcement because number one, wala kang authority to be a police.
Yes.
Number two, you do not have the proper training. Yan
Exactly.
yung sinasabi ko lagi.
Exactly.
And
Alam mo,
I've been reiterating that over the years.
Ito yung nakakaano yan partner ha. Kasi given this pronouncement from a president no less, at talagang for those not in the know, yung wala talagang idea at all about our criminal laws. Nakakatakot, dangerous ito. Sabi nga, little knowledge is so dangerous. Kasi very narrow ang kaalaman mo. Tapos coupled by that assurance from the president that you will be doing something right, or I don't know if it is the proper term to use.
I think the term is he's giving them license.
Exactly,
To
parang permit
to
diba?
kill. To kill.
Yun yung delikado. That's
Yun
why our citizenry must be made aware of really what the law is para alam nila na they know how to apply it in context, in the context of the law dapat.
Especially the parameters.
Yes.
You know? May bakod. Hindi pwede you can just do anything.
Yes.
It's different from taking the law.
And aside from from the three instances where citizens arrest can be effected, yung sinasabi mo Banyero Tiki na in the course of self-defense, alam mo kailangan mo talagang masatisfy din yung circumstances where self-defense is really
Justified.
an exempting or justifying circumstance.
Napakahaba nun.
Hindi basta-basta pwede mong sinabi, self-defense ako. You have to prove the circumstances that will make it justifying.
Like unang-una, reasonableness of the use of
Of
force.
the use of force.
No provocation.
Exactly.
Tapos yung no other alternative.
Exactly.
Diba? Ganun.
In other words, kung hindi mo ginawa yun, ikaw naman ang mamamatay. Dapat ganung sitwasyon at ma-prove mo yan.
So it's very dangerous actually to play policeman when you're just a civilian.
Exactly.
Yan ang turo lagi sa program
Very
na even if you are a licensed gun owner, kahit sabi mo may permit to carry ka, you still are not entitled to arrest criminals, di ba? As a police officer. Hindi ka police eh. Now, you can defend yourself. There's no doubt about that. But once you stick your nose into law enforcement functions of which you have no authority, then you can get yourself into trouble, di ba?
Yes.
Kahit yung mga police nga kami nga, we do arrests, we do enforcement actions. May mga papel na kami medyo hesitant pa yung police na gumalaw kasi teka sandali, pag-aralan muna natin to, anong gagawin natin dito pag we want to avoid problema, baka maglabas ng kutsilyo or whatever. They're also very careful. And remember, sa mga kaso natin pag nag-sheriff tayo, kukuha ka ng police assistance, they will not intervene because it's a civil matter. Si court order na yun, court order na yun. So, the police are being very, very, very careful.
Right.
So, yun ang sa akin. Pero itong going back to the speech, ang sinasabi din niya nung the chief PNP inauguration nag-turnover command, nagsalita rin si President Duterte noon and he said that he is is a left of center, but he represents the government now. And he said that to the soldiers, to the PNP, specifically the audience, that you cannot be perpetually at war with your fellow citizens. Tama ba yun?
Very good.
Ako, yes. I agree with that. Kasi alam mong nangyayari kasi sa atin, I learned that when I was still in undergrad, nating government, kasi doon yung una kong indoctrination into what the real situation in Philippine society. Na there seemed to be a constant struggle between the left and the right in the political spectrum, the rich and the poor, the oppressed and the oppressor, etc., etc. There's a concept called low intensity conflict, meaning parang dito sa Pilipinas,
LIC.
Yung LIC na yan, some unseen forces are really trying to trigger that tayo rin na naglalaban-laban, so that whatever is going on in our foreign policies hindi napapansin. Di ba parang let the people be busy fighting against each other, so that they will not have time to criticize whatever is going on in the international scene between our country and the rest of the world. Kasi yun ang focus ng left. Alam naman natin, they always try to look into the foreign policies. Are the foreign policies consistent to taking care of the welfare and interest of the people? Alam mo naman ang left, laging yun ang kanilang tirada, di ba? At ini-stereotype nila that those in the right side of the political spectrum are only protecting the interest of the oligarchs and of the Uncle Sam and those they are using in the government to perpetrate their interest. Ganun yung ano ko. So with that statement of President Duterte, I hope that itong low intensity conflict na to is reduced, if not put really to rest, kung makikipag-cooperate ang lahat ng mga
armed groups.
Armed groups concerned, including na rin itong mga private groups na dapat pakawalan na rin itong mga politiko, kasi sila rin lang naman ang may armed groups eh.
Pero napansin ko, partner, na among the armed groups, mukhang itong presidente na to, itong si President Duterte, seems to be the most acceptable to them. Napansin ko yung si Nur Miswari, nagpala ng emissary, itong si Joma Sison, nagpadala ng emissary, and mukhang they seem to be upbeat, that there seems to be hope that there can be a peace deal struck with this administration. Yan ang sinasabi nila eh. Yan ang narinig ko ang maliban lang ang hindi nagpi-peace deal dito kay President Duterte, yung Abu Sayyaf. Yan lang. Pero yung MILF, okay
yung kayang BIFF.
Mukhang sila rin, kasi sila din naman yun. We know that the BIFF is just a alter ego of the MILF. Magkakamag-anak din yan. So, itong si Abu Misri Mama, he was a former MILF fighter.
Yeah, saka sinabi rin niya to, partner, yung even the indigenous peoples, referring to the largest indigenous group in Mindanao, yung mga Lumad. Kasi alam naman natin yung nangyari lately, na pati yung mga lumad, kawawa na
ano ba yun? Ano ba nangyayari doon?
Well, di ba doon sa mga mining thing diyan sa affected areas nila ng mga ancestral lands. Alam naman natin that they are living in the mountainsides, and where the ancestral lands are affected, nandiyan naman yung mga mining rights granted. So, alam mo yung conflict diyan, medyo matindi rin yung mga ganyang issue. Di ba? So, medyo maganda yung dating nung presidential inaugural speech, kasi inclusive ang kanyang approach. At contrary to the hardcore anti-Duterte group siguro, medyo
huminahon na.
Nakita nila na wala naman
actually, when I was listening to his speech, ito si President Duterte, parang ang feeling ko hindi siya nagsasalita ibang tao eh. Because he was a different person nung campaign Nung campaign iba eh.
Kasi pumayag siya na babasahin niya yung nasa teleprompter.
So magaling ang speechwriter.
Magaling talaga
pero
yung
pag impromptu, yan, balik na naman tayo sa pagbubura.
I tell you nung matatapos na yung kanyang speech as read from the teleprompter, and the teleprompter dalawa yun eh.
Kaliwa kanan.
Kasi hindi siya nagdi-directly nakatingin sa harap. Laging left or right. Okay? At nung matapos na siya, looking at the right teleprompter, may uumpisahan na siyang sasabihin na wala sa teleprompter. And it was very obvious. Sabi niya, winave niya yung hand niya. Sabi niya, hindi ito kasali dyan.
Yeah.
Then everybody
was laughing.
Was laughing. Kasi akala nila, mag-uumpisa na naman siyang...
I think it is also important to point out na yung may predicate yung sinasabi niya na yun na pag-transition na ito, lahat ng Nariana tatakbo as it was designed. Hindi babaguhin ng bagong gobyerno ng bagong administration na ito yung requirements, yung procedures, etc. Basta't patakbuhin ninyo yan. Do not make this transition an excuse for these applications not to run.
Question partner, since you're involved in that line, no? Ano bang state o present state ng mga licensing, mga applications? Kasi alam ko sa mga LTO kasi hanggang ngayon, isang taon wala pa akong plaka eh. And then yung paglilisensya,
hindi na isang taon pa rin, nag-renew na ako, wala pa rin wala pa rin sticker, yung papel lang na maliit.
Yung sticker ko wala.
Clearly,
I paid for it last year, wala. Hanggang ngayon, nagbayad na naman ako, wala pa rin.
What is the problem with that? Ano bang problema dyan? Is it stupidity, laziness, o ano bang anong issue? Anong issue dyan?
Stupidity.
What about corruption?
Lahat na yan.
Kasama yan.
Kasi for such a simple sticker, bakit hindi ma-produce?
Okay, and then license plates, isang taon na wala. And then yung sa barel, yung licensing ng barel, a perpetual problem na nasa Supreme Court na, 5 petition na naka-file sa Supreme Court hanggang hindi pa nag-i-improve. And then yung sa licensing ng mga, yung sa DNR mo na napakahirap. Siguro shout out na to doon sa kanila na what is the problem?
Actually,
ano ba problema?
May isang problema dyan. Kadalasan nakikita ko hindi maliwanag ang kanilang procedures.
What about requirements?
Kuminsan hindi rin maliwanag ang requirements nila.
Parang Bureau of Immigration.
Parang naisip ka lang nila, kailangan mo pala mag-produce ng ganito. Saan nakalagay dito sa rules ninyo na dapat kailangan ko magbigay?
Okay.
Gaganyanin. Pero dahil doon, hostage na yung process mo. Kapag hindi ka nagbigay, I will not give you this.
Doon na, corruption na.
Gaganunin ka nila.
Ako lately, ang experience ko, my experience ulit sa SEC na I hate the way they do it piecemeal. Yung hindi na lang sila magbigay ng checklist na marami at nandun na lahat. Pag na-comply mo na, tapos. Ito mangyayari dito, every time na lang na kausapin mo yung in-charge,
bago na naman.
May dagdag pa rin. Ano ba? Hindi na matapos-tapos. At nawawala pa nila ang record mo.
I know of two.
Nawawala pa ang record mo. I had that experience na nawawala. You know what I did? I did just to cover up with the client. I never told the client na nawawala nung kausap namin na examiner sa SEC. What we did, we just prepared everything in our office and we copied the signature. Bahala sila.
Ito.
Lumabas din.
Yun.
On the basis of
Teka, manawagan tayo. Tapos na. Umalis na si Tesser Boso. Umalis na. Pero shoutout sana sa kanya. Shoutout sa kanya.
Shoutout pa rin sa mga tao na dyan.
Ito, may shoutout ako ngayon si NBI. NBI clearance. Kumuha ko ng January. Para sa notaryo. Okay, notaryo ako. So, I had to pay a fee. Okay, napansin ko, may mga 10 kategory pala yun. If you're applying for notary public, may presyo. Pag firearm, iba, doble na presyo. Pag nag-a-apply ka ng trabaho, mas mababa. Pag nag-a-apply ka ng overseas, mas mataas. So, my question is, total isang clearance lang naman ito, ba't nag-iiba-iba ang presyo? Bawat application at isang pindot lang naman, pare-pareho naman computer ang pinipindutan. Why do you have to charge a different fee for a firearms application and the job application and a notary application and an overseas application and everything else? So, doble ang fee eh. So, kung sa trabaho, 500, 300. Pag firearm, 1.8. Ganon. So, siguro, maybe the NBI can answer that question, di ba? Kasi isang pindot eh.
Some things are for luxury. Para may tax, di ba?
Okay.
Dahil ba nila naman,
ano ba yung
luxury to? Sige, taasan natin.
Ito, balikan natin yung sinabi ni President Duterte. How to cut down yung waiting time ng mga tao para dun sa mga applications. Okay? Ang isang proposal niya is there would be a uniform documentary requirement policy
na acceptable
for all agencies. Para kung nag-submit ka na, meron ng cross-reference. Na-submit ko na to sa ganito. So therefore, medyo daunting yun. Why? Kasi that means kailangan
Online sila lahat.
Online lahat,
Ayun.
nakalink lahat ang mga government agencies. Na pagpindot nilang ganyan, oo nga, nag-submit ka na kay DFA, nag-submit ka na sa DSWD.
Ano mo, ito simple thing simple, the simplest thing yung NSO na yan, i-computerize mo yan sa lahat ng government agencies.
PSA na ngayon,
Mag-submit
partner.
ka ng pag mag-submit ng requirement,
Partner, PSA na ngayon.
PSA.
Philippine Statistics Agency
Ayun.
or
So,
Administration.
i-online mo yung PSA na yan sa bawat isang agency, di ba? Especially mga kailangan mo ng birth certificate, marriage contract.
Dapat
Isang pindot mo lang, lumalabas na lang,
Oo.
titignan na lang nila, makikita na sa computer, paperless na. Di ba?
Yes.
Paperless na. Di ba?
Naku, yung paperless na yan, matagal nang sinasabi yan ng mga politiko natin. Pero
Partner, ngayon right now, you have to apply for a marriage license copy. Kukuha kasi NSO. Isang linggo pa bago makuha.
Yes.
Oo nga
Isang
eh.
linggo
Medyo
certified true copy ng title. For me, para sa akin as a consumer, as a citizen who goes through that process all the time, I would agree to pay a higher fee.
Yes.
Okay, basta maganda lang ang service. Ayoko yung nagbabayad ako ng fee na bulok ang service. Yun lang
Because
sa akin.
may isa kang dapat tignan dyan because all government agencies go through COA. Diba?
Yes.
Ino-audit sila ng COA. Kaya ganyan yung requirement sila because COA requires them to produce all these documents.
Yes.
Now, what you do is you ask COA, can you please straighten up your minds? Ayusin ninyo yung system ninyo.
Is it legal? Hindi graphing corruption. Is it legal for the office of the Vice President, which is a public officer,
Yes.
to solicit support in financial or in kind from the private sector for government in government projects niya, yung mga anti-poor, ganito,
Palagay ko
ganyan.
hindi.
Is it legal?
Palagay
Legal
ko
kasi
hindi.
di ba bawal mag-solicit ng gifts, di ba? From
But
private
it's not,
individuals.
but it's not for her, but for the
it's for the
government.
program.
Precisely, but what can
Second,
would it be better for her instead of her office, the OVP, soliciting?
Antay
Hindi na siya magsusolicit. She will
antay
just
siya.
tie in
Yes.
with
That's
NGOs who will be the ones
yes.
to move for her.
That's what she's going to do.
I think-
ang trabaho niya
I
is
think
to
so too.
consolidate.
I think so too.
Consolidate. Halimbawa, call in everybody. Sino yung mga CSR, Corporate Social Responsibility
Yes.
projects ito, that fall under these categories like hunger, fighting hunger.
Free legal aid yan, no? Wala
Well, tingnan
Hindi,
natin.
pero alam mo,
to.
meron
I
palang
think,
ano,
I think kasama yan. Kasi kasi when you talk, even when you talk, just talk about hunger, ang laki-laking bagay na talaga. Ang laki-laki ng legal ramifications
Right.
dyan
Because the
sa ano
scope
na yan.
itself of a
Yan.
program that fights hunger
Yes.
is really, really huge.
Hindi lang feeding yan.
Yes,
It's also
it's not feeding lang,
agricultural,
Yes.
You can also
food security,
touch-
food
yes.
security.
Education.
Yes.
Even education, kasama yan dyan sa mga anti-poverty alleviation
Yes.
programs.
Oo.
Livelihood. Diba?
Yes.
Nandyan na rin yung I don't know kung anong gagawin dyan sa PPP na yan.
Education.
Oo.
Ano yung PPP na yun?
I think what we need to do
Pantawid-
really is
Pantawid Pamilya
program. Pamilyang Pilipino program. Pero ano na, di ba?
Ay, yung family planning?
Hindi. Yan yung cash for
cash conditional
cash
transfer.
yes, conditional
PPP.
conditional cash transfer CCT.
CCT.
Na sinimula ni Gloria. Inako ni Noynoy and then
Yung may nagbibigay ng bigas doon sa mga bata?
Hindi, namimigay ng pera.
Pera.
Oh.
Have you ever been to a bank in the provinces where there are 300
Na meron
people
ding
lining
corruption
up?
yan.
doon sa
Yun.
ATM?
Yun.
Oo, yun.
In exchange for assurance
yes,
to the government na yung mga
Paaralin
bata
mo anak mo.
ay papasok
Sa school.
I think itutuloy niya.
Itutuloy
magandang
ang
topic.
itutuloy ang K-12.
Actually,
Yes.
actually yung kinikwento sa akin ni Secretary Liling, right after she was she accepted
Appointed.
it. We talked. And she told me na the reason why kasi she never bet Duterte. Hindi niya kilala.
How was she appointed?
She was
think
appointed from
Recommended.
from nowhere.
Recommendation.
Yes. Hindi niya alam kung sino pero sabi niya palagay niya si Alan Cayetano. Pero
Dahil
sabi niya na
nag-aral siya ng NCPAG dati.
Yes.
Ayun.
Pero palagay niya, sabi niya, ang reason ni Duterte was that because she had been very she went into the open advising Duterte from as a voice in the wilderness na do not to please keep brother
Armin. Luistro. Any last words?
And this is Attorney Ador Tolentino. Our last word is keep sticking to equal justice. Till next week.
Thank you.
Okay.